With the Moro arc appearing to be wrapping up, we see our hero is about to ascend to a power level not yet seen before. What's going on, everybody? Super Saiyan Paul here, back at it again with another Dragon Ball Super video. Today we're going to be talking about manga chapters 63, 64, and 65 and beyond. If it goes that far, make sure you guys smash that like button, make sure you guys subscribe, hit that bell icon, as well as comment down below with your thoughts and opinions on what may unfold in these upcoming chapters as well as afterwards, and pulling from information that we've seen in context in the previous ones. The reason why we're making this video today is to talk about not only the ending, but what may be one of the final climactic battles that we really want to see in the Dragon Ball Super series. Make sure you guys sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Anyway, with Moro seemingly on his last limbs after what Merus had done to him, if you guys didn't already know, he destroyed the gems within Moro that allowed him to store abilities. So now that all of those are destroyed, he's going to be very vulnerable, and he sacrificed himself. So Goku is about to go mastered Ultra Instinct according to Merus' plan. He had trained him up to this point to master Ultra Instinct and not only use that, but in a heightened state where he's even stronger than he was before. So this is going to be much more different than what we saw with Jiren, and in this case we may be seeing him hold on to it for a lot longer and tap into it at will. With these things being said, there's been some heavy rumors that the end of Dragon Ball Super may be near, and these can be taken with a grain of salt because we don't know this for sure. It's not entirely specified here, but it is because of one main part of the previous chapter that just got unveiled that said from Merus himself that this form, MUI, is just the end-all be-all of form. And from what we saw with the Jiren fight in the Tournament of Power, and even that flash moment in Dragon Ball Super Movie Broly, we know this form to be living up to the hype. We know that it's literally plot armor instinct in some cases, and if they're bringing it out here against Moro, to have this much hype this far into the chapters, for this not to defeat him would be pretty crazy. Imagine if it's a stalemate and it just drains Moro or something like that. That would show a testament to how strong Moro is. Because on the same end of the spectrum, Moro was super hyped. Moro was seemingly undefeatable in so many of these chapters, and even up to the newest ones, until Merus jumps into the battle and intervenes with the mortal affair and the timeline of things, just to see himself fade away. So was this technically a way to get a warrior at the strongest level where they can take on any threat ever again and never have to worry about the angel's interference causing them to die? Technically, you sacrificed an angel to get another angel, in a sense of that's how strong they've kind of hyped up MUI to be, and that's why this talk of Goku versus Beerus may be a thing. It may even end off on a panel with that, because throughout the entirety of Dragon Ball Super 2013 Battle of Gods, which was still technically Dragon Ball Super / Dragon Ball Z, it was the bridge between them, Beerus was introduced, and back then we had the power scaling flipped on its head. In Dragon Ball, people take the power scaling way too serious. They try to get it down to a formulaic type of view, but when they constantly retcon things, you're not really supposed to take it serious. I mean, we've seen it time and time again when you've seen like Super Saiyan Trunks rage mode against Zamasu and taking on those type of things. Power levels can be retconned and bounce around. They're not meant to be taken that serious. That's why I don't necessarily agree with most of the math equations I see in the comments. But anyway, going on with this, back then, Super Saiyan God had used a huge portion of Beerus' energy. That is without a doubt. And then they kind of scaled back on that when they started the Super series. They're like, yo, we used up way too much of Beerus' power in technically what is the opening of this series. So they constantly started to scale it down at the very beginning of Super, and then they managed to gradually bring it back up because remember, they had already finished Resurrection F before Super began. So it was Super Saiyan Blue right after Super Saiyan Red, where they had potentially done more than half of Beerus' power used up there. So they scaled it back, and then as we've seen throughout the series, even all the way up to Dragon Ball Super Movie Broly being hinted at being stronger than Beerus, even by Goku himself, you now get to the point where Goku is about to unleash a stronger version of MUI. After all of the training in Dragon Ball Super and after all of the enemies Goku has faced, it wouldn't be too far-fetched to say Goku is right on Beerus' tail, literally. He is on the cusp of actually overthrowing Beerus, in my opinion, unless they decide to retcon it yet again, and then those formulas, those algebra equations you see these dudes put in the comments, out the window yet again, because they keep bouncing around with the power levels are, and no matter how much you guys really try to justify it, it really makes sense for Goku to catch up to him at this point. That's why people are like, this is the end of Dragon Ball Super, because not only are they closing in on the time gap recap of where Dragon Ball Z ended and the Oob saga starting and moving forward into GT, even though that's not canon, but we're still going to go forward with that in the sense of timeline. Goku fighting Beerus would probably be one of the best ways to end off Dragon Ball Super if it was the case. I mean, with Goku and Beerus starting this arc off, or this whole series off, with the two of them being God level powered, and even above that now with Goku going MUI and potentially maybe even reaching the Angels one day with how strong he's constantly getting, it makes sense for them to kind of end it off with the same note that they began it with. Now at this point in time, where the manga chapters have left us, being chapter 63 and a preview of 64, we don't necessarily know if Vegeta is going to catch up with Goku. Right now he is still Super Saiyan Blue, still hasn't used MUI, and there's the growing room for Dragon Ball Super to actually have him move up in power scale, you know what I'm saying? There is room for them to write some more, but does it really seem like they're really headed in that direction at the time of this recording, where the chapters are still at 63 and 64? Not really, because you gave all of this hype to Vegeta, and not only did you guys squander it, you guys really didn't make it have any super huge impact on the battle right now. I mean, in my opinion, this final battle, if it is the final battle, does seem a bit rushed, but remember, we're reading it off of manga chapter panels. They may be able to stretch this out during the series if they do decide to animate this, which is most likely down the line, because it's just money on the table that they're just tossing up there. But besides them not only giving Vegeta the shaft here and kind of leaving that part to trail off, they squandered a lot of the hype around other things such as Moro, because based on the pacing of these manga chapters, Merus jumping in and him taking out this strongest form of Moro that seemed absolutely indestructible, just to have Goku go MUI and now probably wipe the floor with him, or at least stalemate him into draining all his energy, is pretty rushed in my opinion. It almost seems as though the pacing ramped up. It went from 1 to 100 from the very beginning of this arc, where it seemed like it was going at a normal pace. Now it's back to, in my opinion, from based on the manga chapters yet again, the Goku Black arc, where it was basically the same exact thing we saw with them pulling Trunks' power level creep out of nowhere. So these things taken into consideration, do they want to end it off directly after Moro? Do they want to show Goku versus Beerus and see how far he's come, and have Beerus acknowledge the fact that Goku was probably the prodigy that they all expected him to be, and he lived up to it, and give him his blessings? Or are they just going to continue it off of the fact that there is growing room for more in the series, such as Vegeta getting MUI and unleashing it? But I mean, technically, if Goku has MUI, he has the strongest state, he's mastered it, he's trained with the Angels, and he can do it at will and hold on to it for a longer point of time. As stated by the Angels, technically everything should be defeated from this point on, and can they really come up with any more transformations outside of this with all of the hype given to MUI? It's literally the end all be all of all forms, and that's the Dragon Ball Z formula that you're tossing up right there. So the only way I see them really building upon this is, like I said before, you gotta give the MUI arc to Vegeta in some way, shape, or form, which they've squandered and they've tossed to the side. So you don't really want to put your money on that just right now, and them unleashing more powers within MUI. The MUI, Super Saiyan MUI, Super Saiyan Blue, Kaioken times 100 MUI. That's where it gets a bit goofy, and that's where people were like, yeah, maybe we should just pull back on this for now, because as I said before, it does seem as though they're really writing themselves into a hole here, and how much more can they really stretch Dragon Ball Super in that time span? On top of that, add some more transformations that live up to the hype of MUI and surpass even that. I mean, the abilities that MUI gives you, we've seen some of the most beautiful things to watch in terms of animation, but at the same time, at the scaling of things, it is overpowered, and we've been saying this since the ending of Dragon Ball Super, and them bringing it back now kind of does add to the fact that, hey, time is winding down for Dragon Ball Super. It technically started in 2013, 2015 when the series came out, and we've seen 131 episodes as well as a full-fledged amazing movie in that of Bro. There was even rumors of another movie coming out, as well as the series still being held on lockdown right now behind the scenes. So how much more can they do with this series? I want you guys to tell me in the comment section below, what would you guys like for them to do with this series, if anything? Ultra Instinct versus Beerus? Do you guys see Beerus going Ultra Instinct as well? Because it has been established in previous manga chapters that he is also a wielder of this ability, and if that was more room for them to write into, Ultra Instinct battles would be something that the fans would want to see, and I know I sure as hell would want to see, and showing us where the limits of this form is, and that kind of would solidify and bring it back down to, I guess, a grounded level. All in all, to sum this video up, right now with where Dragon Ball is, where Dragon Ball Super is, they can really end it off right now if they wanted to within the next few chapters, if they really wanted to, and it would make sense. It really would. So that does bring some fear into the situation here, but I don't necessarily want to double down on that just yet, because the brilliant thing about Dragon Ball writers, especially Kira Toriyama and Toyotaro, is the fact that they love to throw us curveballs, and right now we may be still looking at the 3/4 mark of the Moro arc. I mean, technically, you don't know if this is the final battle, if it does feel this rush for a reason, and they're not going to have another standoff where they're going to incorporate every single thing that they've thrown into this so far. I mean, they've tried to, things have gotten knocked down, maybe there may be another showdown, we don't know yet, but like I said, either way, it can be written into the ending right here, and it can go into a little bit more of a drawn-out battle. So we can't take it for face value, because like I said, there's been time and time again where Dragon Ball Z and even technically Dragon Ball Super have gone on a hiatus or have ended. I mean, the Frieza saga was supposed to be the ending, the Cell saga was supposed to be the ending, the Majin Buu saga was the ending for most of us during the entirety of our childhood, until GT kind of pandered to that little urge of us that wanted more, but it wasn't necessarily what we wanted, because one wasn't canon, and two, it was a letdown and watered down for most of us. So they may be writing themselves into a hole here, and that's where it just ends up being like Super Dragon Ball Heroes, where everything isn't really taken seriously, and there's not really a flow of anything really where it's taken seriously. It's just mainly a bunch of what if and fan stuff thrown in there technically, and it's just all over the place in terms of power levels and transformations, where I know a lot of fans don't take it too seriously because of that, versus Super, where it's a much more linear, more serious path, because it's taken down the path of where Dragon Ball Z left off, and they kind of intertwine everything in a very, very nice pacing and a much more serious tone. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Ultra Instinct Goku versus Beerus as the ending, Ultra Instinct Goku versus Moro as the ending. I mainly want to see Beerus give Goku the credit that he deserves, Goku beating him, and seeing that character development that we've been seeing in Beerus, these little sparks of him actually being a bit more humbled, if anything. I don't necessarily know if that fits the Dragon Ball Super's God of Destruction character role, but we've seen in other universes their gods of destructions bend the knee to their warriors. We've seen that happen in the Tournament of Power, and Goku getting that respect that he deserves, maybe that may be how it ends. Anyway, guys, make sure you guys smash that like button, make sure you guys subscribe, hit that bell icon, and we'll be seeing you guys next time, alright? Take care. Peace.